So our major initiatives at this point are the Fed and its efforts, and the TARP, which now both candidates have said they're for the TARP, both with some, but no one really knows who's going to run this thing, because Paulson will be out in a couple months. Paulson has appointed a 35-year-old engineer to run it. You know, if he can run it with 400 people, he shouldn't be doing that. He should be running the world. I mean, that is impossible. So when we look at this now and we say, okay, I mean, we're in real trouble. I don't have any compunction about saying we're in real trouble. That doesn't mean we can't get out of it, but we sure aren't going to get out of it unless we do some things right from here on. And nobody knows exactly how to do what's right, because there's nobody in this room that's ever been in this situation before. And even someone who's older than I am, who's here, can just barely remember what happened last time. So, as far as the presidential candidates go, I don't know which one is the best to run this. Who are they going to have run it? How are they going to run it? And so forth. Since I'm a long-standing Republican for many, many, many years, obviously, I would like to see the Republicans run it, but I have no real idea how they will do it, unless McCain asks Paulson to stay on, which in my view would be a good idea. But unfortunately, if you look at the polls, he's not going to be in a good position to ask him to stay on. So, what do we do now? Of course, now we get to the people who are here. You're out here in the real world. I'm just, in Washington, where panic is amok. And the real question is, how is the real world out here going to react to this? What are they going to do? How are we going to get out of it? And I would just say a couple things. Panic is a human emotion, and no matter how scared you are, you can't be panicked forever. You get tired of getting up every morning and being in a panic. And pretty soon you get up and say, I got to do something. We're not there yet. But given a little more time and some of the things that are being done, I think we'll see the private sector start to move to do something on its own. And by that I mean the financial sector. And in the meantime, there are going to be a lot of banks fail. There are going to be businesses fail. It's going to be a very tough period on the economy. But panic will get over. You don't stay in panic forever. And the real way you get out of it is leadership. People who will get up and say, I'm not panicked, and I say that this is what we're going to do, whether it's the local bank or the governor or whatever. And I don't know that's a terribly cheering prospect, but it does say we're going to get out of this. That what's the kind of thing we're in right now can't last for years or even months probably. So that's one good thing. The second good thing is that, as McCain said, for which he is roundly criticized, the fundamentals of an economy in the United States are good. What do I mean by that? I mean the educational system, the market system, the entrepreneurial opportunities, all the things that have made us the most productive nation in the world for the last 10 years. Now, in case you think we were always that way, I wrote a book in 1982 called Productivity, the American Advantage. At that time, I think we were 29th in the world on productivity. And I had a big-time publisher, and I thought that this would be an important message. And the publisher told me it was the worst-selling book he'd ever put out. And the reason was that people didn't believe that America had any advantages or that we were going to be a productive leader in the world. But the fact of the matter is that we had the fundamentals for leading in productivity. That is more product per worker than anyone else in the world, because we were on the front of the new world of technology, of information, of health care, and all those things that we now look at as our economy. And those things are all still there. There's no doubt that we have the best higher education system in the world. We have the best marketplace, although we're losing some of it. And our great challenge is to get out of this panic before it damages so badly these fundamentals in which we have world leadership. And I would just say that Michigan, in many ways, got into this early. You went into the revolving door first. You should come out first. Although George Romney, the man that I used to work for here in Michigan, said a real competitor is the guy that goes in behind the fella in the revolving door and comes out ahead of him. And that's a little bit of where Michigan has got to be now. Now, you know far more about Michigan today than I do. I know that the McCain has dropped out of the contention for Michigan, apparently. In other words, he doesn't think he can possibly carry Michigan. If Obama is elected, that's probably good for Michigan. Because if Obama is elected, you want to be on the side of the winner in politics. And in most things, actually, but certainly in politics. So, I think that Michigan is going through a lot of the pain, shrinking, readjusting. And I was just in talking to the students for a few minutes, and I said, you're going to go through a period here like you've never seen before. You haven't been paying much attention to the world economy or the U.S. economy. I mean, you're focused on your career, and you're going to have to look at what's going on around you, because the world you're going out to is going to be so much different than all of your predecessors. Particularly, this was a finance class. You know, so you're going to have to take note of the world. But whenever there's change like that, there's great opportunity. Great opportunity if you can just get ahead of the curve. And I must say that they didn't all get up and start booing. They actually, listened. And I hope that some of them will really take it to heart. But it now applies to everybody. One thing I can say, as far as I'm concerned, for sure, is that when we come out of this, a lot of things are going to be very different.